Hello guys, kindly check this out. When I say submit, I get what? Full name is required. Good. So when I start typing, it's telling me please enter a valid name. Good. When I add another letter, it disappears. When I type more than 20 characters, it tells maximum length allowed is 20. Likewise, when I put in number, okay, I so 2, 4, it tells me please enter only alphabets. So that is that for this video. If you want to type along with me, npm install Tailwindcss/forms and to npm install React hook form. Now with the Tailwind CSS forms, let's do something quick. Google, then we say npm install Tailwind CSS/forms. Okay. Tailwind CSS. So after installing the Tailwind CSS forms, we go to the plugin we call required. You copy this required, then go to the config file. Okay, so we go to our config file here, and you paste it in the plugin. Okay, so this is my require, so we paste it there. So that is that, guys. We all said and done. Let's begin. Thank you very much. Let's begin by creating two folders in the ISRC folder. Call the first one assets, then call the first one, second one components. Good. Now let's take the first one, assets. Now in this project we have no spinners or images, so let's leave it blank. Let's move to the second one called components. Components, let's create a file and call it validate test app.js. Good. So to begin, let's call refce. Good. So with that, we have our div. Instead of ordinary div, let's make it React fragment. So we say React.fragment. Good. So inside that we have a section. Then inside that we have our div now. Then inside that we can say hello. Let's link that to the app.js to view on the screen. So over here we say validate test app. Yeah. Let's import it. Okay. Let's import it. So we say import what validate. Get from where? Yes, get from components. Then validate test app. So let's check the screen to see if we got hello on the screen. Great, we got hello on the screen, means we're ready to go. So let me position everything since in mobile first. Good. So guys, we're ready to go. So that is that. Let's begin by taking the hello off. Then instead of, let's create a form. Okay. Then form, inside the form, let's create a div. Now inside the div, let's give it class name. Then inside class name, let's give it bg white. Then what again? Let's give it width full. Good. Then let's give it height 96. Good. How about this? Cool, right? Let's give it some margin mx5. Okay. So let's say mx5. Then let's make the width auto. Good. Yeah, margin tab. We need some margin tab. Okay. Margin tab, let's give it 20. Then what again? Rounded. Okay. Rounded, let's give it OG. Then what again? I think that's cool for now. Let's move on to the header. So we call the header So the header, what do we want? Create a div. Now inside the div, let's give a p tag. Then we call, we say what, validate test input. Okay. So let's style that. Let's give it a class name. Last name equals what? So let's give it width. Let's say full. Height, let's give it 20. Then what again? Let's make it flex. Flex. Then justify center. Then what? Test. Oh no, align item center. Item center. Good. So that is that. Let's increase the size. So the p tag, let's give the class name. Good. We say test for Excel. Then what again? Let's uppercase. Then what again? It's font bold. Good. I think that is cool for the header. So next, done with the header. So let's go to the body. So let's say body. So inside the body, what do we need? Let's create a div. Good. So inside the div, let's have another div to take care of the input. So inside that we can have our input. Good. So let's take the type. So we say type equals what? Test. Then what again? Let's give it a placeholder. Let's say enter your name. Good. So what next? Let's give it class name. So let's give class name. Let's give width full. Let's give height 14. Then what again? Test. Let's give it Excel. Then let's make it rounded. LG. Then what again? Let's give some margin at both ends. So we go to the mother div and give it a class name. Then inside that we can say MX5 and MT10. Okay. So I think that's for the test input. Now next thing is to work on the button. Okay. So likewise, let's copy this div and make it the button section. Okay. So we come here, we say BTN section. So we can just paste it down here. Okay. So the same thing, just that the type is going to go and be submit. Then the placeholder is now going to be value. Okay, and the value is going to be submit. Then what again? Class name. The width I want to start to have 2/5. Yeah, good. Okay, then what again? The height is too much. Let's give it height 10. Then what again? Let's give it BG green 900. And then test. Let's give it white. Then what again? Then font bold. Good. So let's center it. So we take the same div here. We can take this off. Then we say flex was then justify center and item center. Good. Then we can add the empty to it, margin tab. We can say 10, but let's make it 16. Yeah, so that is that, guys. We're ready for validation. So to begin the validation, let's go to Google and type what React hook form. Yeah, good. Now we have hook form. It opens, then we go to get started. Good. Now we've done the installation already. So next thing is to import the form. Okay, so we import it. So let's go import it nicely. Okay, let me make it bigger. Okay, import that. Then next, what do? We go to the handle event. Okay, so we copy the handle event too, and we come back. Then we say handle event. So we paste that to there. Okay, next one, handle submit. We say handle submit. Okay. Now handle submit, let's go check it out. To handle submit, is it? We copy that too, paste it. Great. Now it's going to console log the data, but I want it to alert the data. Okay. So let's say alert to bracket. You say JSON dot stringify into bracket data. Okay, so let's add another bracket to it. So that is that. Now next is the form. We need an on submit on the form. So we go there too. See the form on submit. We copy that too. Then we paste it. Okay. Good. So our form tool is ready. Now let's check that out. Good. So when we say submit, it's alerts an empty data. Cool. Ready to go. Now next thing to do is to work on the events. So we go back. The events, we have a sample here. Good. Is it? Let's use this one. Register over here. Copy that. So we go to the input after the class name and we paste it there nicely. So the name now is going to be what? Let's call it full name. Good. So we require true and we say come on, good. Full name, good. Full name is required. Good. So that is that. So we need to display error. So let's use this place to handle the error. So, okay. So after the input tag, let's handle error. Let's copy the sample error. We copy this too. Copy that. Good. And we paste it. Good. So errors dot full name. I don't know, full name. Good. And what? Good. And span. This field is required. Okay, let's make this the error message dynamic. Okay. So we say here, we can say errors dot full name dot message. So let's check that out. should we submit? Good, we have full name is required. Good. Now let's make this style. Let's style it. So over here, the span tag, we can say give it a class name, and say test sm, and let's give it test red 500. Okay, let's check that out again. Good. So when we say submit, you can see full name is required. Good. Let's make the full name caps. Okay, good. So that is that. Good. So when we submit, we say full name is required, but the focus is still blue. I want the focus to be also be red. Okay. So let's make the class name to dynamic. So over here, instead of this in quotes, add a bracket to it. So over here, we make it dynamic, so we can call the bracket. Okay. Good. So inside that, we call the quote. This is under the escape button. Okay. Yeah, that's what we'll do to use for the dynamic. So we can say $, $sign, good, $sign bracket, and we can put our errors dot full name there. Okay, and what? Then we give it a class name. So let's say focus what should be what? Border what? Border red 500. Okay. Then what again? I need the focus to change. Then I need the ring tool. So I say focus what? Red ring. Sorry, ring red 500. Then what again? And the border too. Okay, let's make the border be border red 500. Good. Okay, let's check that out. Okay, good. It's working. So when we submit, you can see we have red color. The border also becomes red. So that is cool. So next to validate is the the length. The length of the test. Okay. The length of the test. So to do that, you go back to the after the required. So after the required, we put comma, then we say min length colon, then with the brackets. So let's call value. Okay. So the value should be given what? Let's make it 2. No, 2. Good. Then comma, and the message, SSAG, the message should be given what? Let's give it a message. So into bracket we can say please enter a valid name. A valid name. Good. So if the user types less than 2 characters, you say please enter a valid name. Good. So what again? So that is that for the min length. Now we can do likewise for max length. Okay, so we copy this. Then we say come on, and we copy that for max length too. The max length. Let's give it a value 20. Then the message is going to be what? So let's say maximum maximum length, length allowed is 20. Good. So that's, let's check that out. Okay, so if I type less than 2 letters, I type 1 and I say submit, it says what? Enter a valid name. And when I type more than 20, it says what? Maximum length allowed is 20. Okay, so but we don't need to click the submit before it validates for us. I want it to validate as we type, so we call the trigger function. Okay, so we go up over here. So after watch, we can say trigger. Oh, sorry, trigger. Good. So our trigger is ready. Now let's call it. So we call it after the event. So over here on key app equals to what? Equals to a function. Okay. So we say equals to a function. Okay. Then inside the function we have trigger into bracket, then quote full name. Good. So let's check that out. Okay, let's see if our trigger works. Something is expected. 1 minute. And 7. Oh, yes. After I trigger, come on. Okay, let's go. I think that is that. So let's check it again. So let's see. So when I type D, let's check this autocomplete off. Okay. So let's say auto complete. Let's make it off. Equals off. Good. So let's see. Good. So let's try again. So when I say D, it's enter a valid name. When I keep typing, after 20, it says maximum length is 20. You see that? So that is cool. You don't need to submit before it gives you the error message. So next thing to do is to validate the input. It's text, so I don't want numbers. Okay, so let's work on that too. So with that one, we need a regular expression. Okay, so we can call the pattern. So we say pattern. Then inside that, let's have a bracket. Then we say value and message. Okay, the value and message. Our message is going to be what? Message is going to be please enter only alphabets. Alphabets. Good. Now how about what's the name? The value. The value is this I was talking about, the regular expression I was talking about. Now we need to go to Google and look for a regular expression for text only. Okay, so we go to Google, then we say Google, then we say regular expression for text only. Okay, so let's try it and see. So let's go through this one. It's not correct because last they have mentioned which process is it for my own. How about this? Super simple example. Regular expression extremely easy to find online. Okay, let's use this. Let's try this one and see. Okay. So we paste it there. Good. Then come on. What again? Why is it red? Come on, good. Why is it red? Come on, good. Okay, so that is that, guys. Let's give it a try. Okay, so we run it. Then we put some numbers there. 4, you see, it's 4 after. If I put numbers, it tells you please enter only alphabets. Okay, so that is that, guys. It works. So finally, we can put all together and say submit. Give us what enter. We put 1 there. It says what please enter a valid name. We add more. If it's more than 20, it says what maximum length allowed is 20. So finally, let's make our app responsive. So to do that, let's make it responsive. So responsiveness, let's go to the mother div. So over here, so we can say sm, let's make it width to be what full. Then at medium screen, let's make the width to be 4/5. Then let's make the listen, what's the name? At medium screen again, let's make the mx to be auto. Then let's at large screen, let's make the width to be 2/5. Okay, and then same large screen again, let's make the mx to be auto. So let's check that out. Good. And make it bigger so you can see our form is ready. So that is that, guys. Thank you so much for sticking through. Don't forget to do good. Catch you in the next one. We say peace.